Story: The Silent Scored.
The rain in Seattle didn't just fall, it wept. It drummed a relentless, melancholic rhythm against the panoramic windows of the 42nd floor, blurring the city lights into smeared streaks of neon and gray. I stood there, pressing my forehead against the cold glass, the condensation cooling my skin, but doing nothing to quell the feverish heat of anxiety radiating in my chest. In my hand, I held a folder. It was heavy, cream-colored cardstock, embossed with the logo of Vanguard Publishing. Inside lay a contract that represented everything I had worked for since I was 22 years old, the position of editor-in-chief at their London headquarters. It came with a salary that looked like a telephone number, an apartment in Kensington, and, more importantly, the kind of power and creative freedom most people in my industry only dream of in their most delusional moments. Genevieve? The voice came from behind me. It was deep, smooth, and laced with a familiarity that made my stomach tighten. I turned around. Sebastian was sitting at the edge of the mahogany conference table, watching me. He hadn't changed much in 15 years. His hair was grayer at the temples, perhaps, lending him a distinguished air that matched his tailored charcoal suit. But his eyes, that piercing, intelligent blue, were exactly the same as they had been when we were undergraduates debating literature until 3 in the morning. "You're overthinking it," Sebastian said softly, standing up and walking toward me. He stopped a respectful distance away, but close enough that I could smell his cologne, sandalwood, and old paper. "This is your life, Genevieve. It's the chair you were born to sit in." "It's not just a chair, Sebastian," I replied, my voice sounding thinner than I wanted it to. "It's an ocean away. It's a complete dismantling of the life I've built here." "The life you've built?" Sebastian raised an eyebrow, a gesture of skepticism he didn't bother to hide. "Or the life you've settled for?" His words were a precision strike, aiming directly at the cracks in my armor. He knew, of course, he knew. He knew about Julian, he knew about the accident. He knew that for the last 5 years, my life hadn't been my own. It had been a series of doctor's appointments, physical therapy sessions, and the slow, agonizing suffocation of watching the man I loved turn into a shadow of himself. "Don't," I whispered, clutching the folder to my chest like a shield. "Don't make this about him." "It is about him," Sebastian countered, his voice dropping to a murmur. "It's always about Julian. You've been his nurse, his manager, his crutch, and his punching bag for 5 years. When do you get to be Genevieve again? The Genevieve who wrote that brilliant manuscript? The Genevieve who wanted to set the literary world on fire?" He reached out, his hand hovering near my arm but not touching. "London is waiting. I am waiting. I need a partner there, Jen. Someone who understands the vision. I can't do it with anyone else." I looked at him, and for a terrifying second, I saw a parallel universe. A timeline where I hadn't married Julian, where I hadn't chosen the safe, warm love of a pianist, but instead chased the wild, ambitious fire of a career with Sebastian. In that reflection, I looked younger. "I need to go home," I said abruptly, stepping back. I need to think." Sebastian sighed, a sound of calculated patience. "You have until Monday morning, Genevieve. The board won't wait forever, and neither will fate." The drive home was a blur of red taillights and windshield wipers. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. The silence of the car usually offered me a sanctuary, a transition zone between the high-pressure demands of my current job as a senior editor and the emotional heavy lifting required at home. But tonight, the silence was filled with Sebastian's voice. "The life you've settled for." I pulled into the driveway of our craftsman bungalow. It was a beautiful house, the kind with a wraparound porch and hydrangeas that bloomed violently blue in the summer. Julian and I had bought it 6 years ago, a year before the accident. Back then, the house was always filled with music. Julian was a concert pianist, a man whose hands could conjure storms and lullabies from ivory and wood. Now, the house was silent. I unlocked the front door, bracing myself. The air inside smelled of lavender air freshener and the faint antiseptic scent of muscle rub. "Genevieve?" The voice came from the living room. It wasn't the booming, joyous baritone I had fallen in love with. It was raspy, tentative. I hung up my coat, took a deep breath to compose my features into a mask of cheerful competence, and walked in. Julian was sitting in his wheelchair by the fireplace, a blanket draped over his legs. The fire was dying down, casting long, dancing shadows across his face. He was still a handsome man, high cheekbones, dark curls that fell over his forehead, but the spark in his eyes had dimmed. The car accident had crushed his legs and caused nerve damage in his right hand. The legs kept him in the chair. The hand took away his soul. He hadn't touched the piano in 5 years. "Hey," I said softly, walking over and kissing the top of his head. "How was your day? Did Mrs. Gable come by to help with lunch?" "She did," Julian said, not looking at me. He was staring at the embers. "She made soup again, bland, like everything else lately." I flinched internally. His bitterness was a living thing in this house, a third roommate that took up all the space. "I can make something else," I offered, though exhaustion was pulling at my eyelids. "I can make that risotto you like?" "Don't bother," he snapped, then immediately softened, rubbing his face with his good left hand. "I'm sorry, my back hurts today, the rain." "I know," I soothed him, moving to massage his shoulders. The muscles were rock hard, knotted with tension and lack of use. "I can get your medication." "I don't want the pills, Jen. They make me foggy." He reached up and covered my hand with his. His hand was cold. "You're late tonight." "Work," I lied, or told a half-truth. "A meeting ran long." "With Sebastian?" I froze. Julian had an uncanny ability to sense when Sebastian was involved. He had never liked him, even back in college. He called Sebastian a shark in a suit. "Yes," I admitted, moving around the chair to face him. I sat on the ottoman, bringing myself to his eye level. He offered me something, Julian." Julian's eyes narrowed slightly. "What kind of something?" I took a breath, the weight of the secret pressing against my ribs. "A promotion, a big one, editor-in-chief." For a second, a flicker of genuine pride crossed his face. "Jen, that's amazing. You deserve it. You've been carrying that department for years." "There's a catch," I said quickly, before he could celebrate too much. "It's in London." The silence that followed was deafening. The only sound was the hiss of a log settling in the fireplace. Julian withdrew his hand from mine slowly, as if he had been burned. "London," he repeated, the word tasting like ash in his mouth. "It's a 3-year contract," I explained, the words tumbling out now. "Triple the salary, Julian. We could afford the best specialists in Europe. There's a clinic in Zurich I've been reading about. They do experimental nerve regeneration. We could hire full-time care so I wouldn't have to worry when I'm at the office. We could—" "Stop," he said. His voice was low, shaking. "Julian, just think about it. It's the opportunity of a lifetime." "For you," he said, looking at me with a mixture of anger and profound sadness. "It's the opportunity of a lifetime for you. For me, it's being dragged across the ocean, away from my doctors, away from my home, to sit in a different apartment while you play power couple with Sebastian." "This isn't about Sebastian," I protested, though my cheeks flushed. Isn't it? Julian laughed, a harsh, dry sound. He's always been in the background, Genevieve, waiting for me to slip up, waiting for me to break so he could swoop in and save you from your tragic life with the cripple. I have never thought of you that way. I stood up, anger flaring. I have dedicated the last 5 years to your recovery. I have put my writing on hold. I have turned down other offers. I have been here, Julian, every single day. And you resent me for it, he spat out. The truth hung in the air between us, ugly and undeniable. I opened my mouth to deny it, but the words wouldn't come. Did I resent him? No, I loved him. But did I resent the situation? Did I resent the fact that his tragedy had become my cage? Perhaps. I don't resent you, I said, my voice trembling. I resent that we've stopped living. We're just existing. We're waiting for something to change, but nothing changes unless we make it change. This job, it's motion. It's a future. It's your future, Julian said, turning his wheelchair away from me, facing the dark window. If you want to go, Genevieve, go. But don't pretend you're doing it for me. Don't insult me with that. I stood there, staring at his back, feeling a chasm opening up beneath my feet. The contract in my bag felt like a ticking bomb. The next day was Saturday, but there was no rest. The atmosphere in the house was suffocating. Julian refused to speak to me, locking himself in the study with his old recordings, listening to his younger self play Rachmaninoff on a loop. The music, once a source of joy, now sounded like a ghost haunting the hallways. Around noon, the doorbell rang. It was Beatrice, Julian's mother. Beatrice was a formidable woman. She was 65, always dressed in pearls and tweed, with a spine of steel and a worldview that hadn't shifted since 1950. She blamed the world for Julian's accident, the other driver, the rain, the car manufacturer, but mostly, I felt she blamed me for not being in the car to protect him, even though that was irrational. Genevieve, she said, sweeping in with a bag of Tupperware, I brought stew. Julian said on the phone he wasn't eating. She looked at me accusingly, as if I were starving him. He ate breakfast, Beatrice, I said, trying to keep my patience. He had eggs and toast. He sounded distressed, she said, marching into the kitchen and starting to unpack her containers. He said you're thinking of leaving. I closed my eyes for a second. Of course, he called her. I was offered a job, Beatrice, a promotion. She turned slowly, holding a ladle like a weapon. In London, he told me. Yes, and you are considering it? Her tone implied I was considering murder. It's a significant opportunity for our family. Ideally, Julian would come with me. Move him? Beatrice gasped. In his condition? Away from his physical therapist, Dr. Evans, whom he has trusted for years? Away from his family? Genevieve, have you lost your mind? There are doctors in London, Beatrice. Better ones, maybe. It's not about doctors, she snapped, stepping closer. It's about stability. He is fragile. His depression is precarious. Taking him away from everything he knows could destroy him. And if you leave him here, she let the sentence hang, well, a wife's place is with her husband, especially when he is in need. You took vows, in sickness and in health. I remember hearing you say them. I know my vows, I said, my voice hard. I have lived those vows every day for 5 years. I bathe him, I dress him. I manage his finances. I hold him when he cries at night because he can't feel his fingers. Don't lecture me on vows. Beatrice faltered for a moment, surprised by my outburst. I rarely fought back. Then you know, she said, her voice lowering to a whisper that was somehow worse than her shouting. You know that if you take this job, you are choosing your career over his life. You are choosing your vanity over his survival. If you leave, Genevieve, you are abandoning him, and I will never forgive you, and neither will he." She turned back to the stove, dismissing me. "I'll take the stew into him. You should probably go for a walk. The air is thick in here." I grabbed my coat and fled. I didn't mean to call Sebastian. My fingers dialed the number on autopilot as I walked blindly through the drizzle in the park near our house. "Jen?" he answered on the first ring. "I need a drink," I said. We met at a quiet bar downtown, a place with dark wood paneling and no windows. I ordered a whiskey, neat. Sebastian ordered sparkling water. He was always in control. "He didn't take it well," Sebastian stated. It wasn't a question. "He thinks I'm abandoning him. His mother thinks I'm a monster." I took a long sip of the burning liquid. Maybe I am. "You're not a monster," Sebastian said, leaning in. "You're a woman who is drowning. I'm throwing you a life raft." He reached across the table and took my hand. His skin was warm, his grip firm. It felt electric, illicit. "Genevieve, look at me." I looked up. "Do you love him?" he asked. "Yes," I said immediately. "I do." "Do you love him as a husband, or do you love him as a patient?" The question hit me like a physical blow. I pulled my hand away. "That's cruel." "It's necessary," Sebastian insisted. "I remember you, Jen, before the accident. You were vibrant, you were fierce. You wanted to change the world with words. Now, you're fading. If you stay, 5 years turns into 10. 10 turns into 20. You'll wake up at 60, bitter and resentful, and you'll hate him for it. And he'll know it. Is that love?" I stared into my glass. The amber liquid swirled. "He says if I go, I'm choosing you." Sebastian paused. "And if you were? Would that be such a tragedy?" He held my gaze. There was undeniable chemistry there, the ghost of a romance that never quite finished before I met Julian. Sebastian represented the road not taken, the power, the travel, the intellectual equality without the burden of caretaking. "I can't leave him, Sebastian," I whispered. "He can't survive without me." "That is the arrogance of the caregiver," Sebastian said gently, "thinking you are the only thing keeping the world spinning. Maybe he needs to learn to survive without you. Maybe you're enabling his stagnation." My phone buzzed on the table. It was a text from the home nurse service. "Alert, Julian fell trying to get out of the chair. Ambulance is on the way." My blood turned to ice. I scrambled up, knocking the chair over. "Genevieve, I have to go," I gasped. "He fell." The hospital waiting room was a place I knew too well. The fluorescent lights hummed with a headache-inducing frequency. Beatrice was there, of course, sitting in the corner like a stone statue, refusing to look at me. When the doctor finally came out, I rushed to him. "He's stable," Dr. Evans said, looking tired. He tried to stand up. He wanted to reach a book on the top shelf. He fell and fractured his collarbone. It's not severe, but... "Genevieve, we need to talk about his mental state." "He's depressed," I said. "I know." "It's more than that. He's reckless. This was almost deliberate. Not a suicide attempt per se, but a testing of limits that he knew were dangerous. He's frustrated." I went into the room. Julian was lying in the bed, his arm in a sling, a bruise blossoming on his forehead. He looked small. "I wanted the poetry book," he croaked when he saw me. "The one you published, the anthology." I walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. Tears pricked my eyes. "Why didn't you call me? Or Beatrice?" "I wanted to do it myself," he whispered. He looked at me, his eyes wet. "I wanted to see if I could still be a man." "Oh, Julian," I took his good hand. "I know you were with Sebastian," he said. I didn't deny it. "Did you accept the job?" "No," I said. "I'm going to turn it down. I can't leave you, not like this." Julian closed his eyes. A tear leaked out and tracked through the stubble on his cheek. He lay there for a long time, silent. Then he squeezed my hand. "You have to go," he said. I shook my head. "No, I'm staying. We'll figure it out." "Genevieve, listen to me," he said, his voice gaining a sudden, surprising strength. He opened his eyes and they were clear, clearer than they had been in years. "You have to go. Not for you, for us." "What do you mean?" "Beatrice, my mother, she's right about one thing. I'm dependent on you, but she's wrong about the rest. You staying here isn't saving me, it's killing us both." He took a shaky breath. "I fell today because I was angry at myself. Angry that my wife, the most brilliant woman I know, is wasting her life making me soup and managing my pills. I look at you and I see pity, and I hate it. I hate myself when I see it." "It's not pity, it's love," I argued, crying now. "It's become pity, Jen. Be honest." He looked deep into my soul. "If you stay, we will rot. I will become just a body you take care of, and you will become just a nurse. I don't want a nurse. I want my wife. But I can't have my wife until I learn to be a man again, on my own." "You can't live alone," I sobbed. "I can hire help, professional help, not you. I need to struggle, Jen. I need to figure out who Julian is if he's not a pianist. And I can't do that while you're hovering over me, buffering me from the world." He squeezed my hand harder. "Go to London, take the job, be the editor-in-chief, be amazing." "And us?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "What happens to us?" "We take a break," he said. The words hung in the air, terrifying and liberating. "Not a divorce, a separation. You go, I stay. I work on me, you work on you. If in a year or two we still find our way back to each other, then it will be because we want to be together, not because we need to be." That's terrifying," I admitted. "Yes," he smiled faintly, "but staying here, dying slowly in that house, that's worse." The decision felt like cutting off a limb to save the body. The next 2 weeks were a whirlwind of logistics and heartbreak. I signed the contract with Vanguard. Sebastian was triumphant, though I kept him at arm's length. I told him clearly, "I am coming to London for the job, not for you. If you think this is a romantic gateway, tear up the contract now." To his credit, he respected that, or at least pretended to. I hired a full-time male nurse for Julian, a sturdy, no-nonsense man named David who didn't look at Julian with pity, but with professional expectation. I organized the finances. I packed my life into boxes. The hardest part was Beatrice. She screamed, she cried, she called me a harlot and a traitor. I stood my ground. "I am doing this because I love him enough to let him grow," I told her on the porch the day before I left. "You want to keep him as a child. I want him to be a man." She didn't answer, just slammed the door in my face. The final morning came. The taxi was waiting. It was raining again, of course. Seattle was bidding me a consistent farewell. I stood in the hallway with my suitcases. Julian wheeled himself out. He looked tired, but resolved. "So," he said. "So," I replied. I knelt down and hugged him. He smelled of the cedar soap I had bought him, and underneath that, the scent of the man I had married. I kissed him, hard and desperate. He kissed me back, and for a moment, the spark was there. Not the nurse and the patient, but the lovers. "Go," he whispered against my lips. "Write something beautiful." "Play something beautiful," I whispered back. I walked out the door without looking back. If I had looked back, I would have stayed. London, 8 months later. The office overlooking the Thames was vastly different from the one in Seattle. the light here was different, sharper somehow. My desk was covered in manuscripts. The latest issue of Vanguard Review was on the table, featuring an editorial I had written that was being hailed as provocative and necessary. I was tired, but it was a good tired, the kind that comes from using your brain to its full capacity. Sebastian knocked on the doorframe. "Lunch? There's a new Italian place in Soho." I looked up and smiled. We had found a rhythm. We were colleagues, friends. Occasionally, the tension flared, the possibility of what if hovering over a glass of wine, but I never crossed the line. I was still married. "I can't," I said. "I have a video call." "Ah," Sebastian nodded, a flicker of disappointment in his eyes. "The weekly call." "Yes." He left, closing the door. I opened my laptop and logged into Skype. My heart did that little flutter it always did on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. The screen connected, the pixelated image sharpened. Julian was sitting at the piano. He looked different. He had grown a beard. He looked older, perhaps, but the haunted hollowness was gone from his eyes. David, his nurse, had helped him rig a special brace for his right hand. It didn't give him full dexterity, but it allowed him to play chords, to support the melody his left hand played. "Hi," I said, smiling until my cheeks hurt. "Hi, Jen," he smiled back. London suits you. You changed your hair." "I did, cut it shorter. How was therapy?" "Brutal," he laughed, but I stood for 30 seconds unassisted today. 30 seconds, I gasped. "Julian, that's incredible." "It's a start," he said. "But listen, I've been working on something. It's not Rachmaninoff. I can't play that anymore. But I started composing, for the left hand mostly." "Play it for me," I said softly. He took a breath, positioned his hands, one strong, one supported by the mechanical brace, and began to play. It was a melancholic, haunting melody, full of rain and distance, but underneath there was a thread of hope, a rising crescendo that spoke of resilience, of breaking apart and putting yourself back together. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. I watched him play, thousands of miles away. I was alone in a foreign city. I missed him with an ache that was physical, but as I listened to the music, I realized something profound. If I had stayed, this music would never have been written. He would still be sitting by the fire, bitter and silent. I would be resentful and dim. We had to break our hearts to save our souls. The song ended. He looked at the camera, breathing hard, sweat on his brow. "What do you think?" he asked vulnerably. "I think," I said, wiping a tear from my cheek, "that it's a masterpiece." "I'm calling it The Departure," he said. "It's perfect." "Jen?" "Yes?" "I miss you. Every day." "I miss you too, Julian." "I'm coming to visit," he said suddenly. My breath hitched. "What?" "In 6 months, Dr. Evans thinks I'll be cleared for travel. I want to see London. I want to see you. Not to move in, just to date. I want to take my wife on a date." I laughed, a sound of pure joy. "I would like that very much." We said our goodbyes. I closed the laptop and swiveled my chair to look out at the Thames. The gray water churned below, moving constantly, never stagnant. Life is a series of impossible choices. Sometimes the hardest choice isn't between good and bad, but between love and growth. I had chosen the hard path. I had risked losing everything. But as the echo of Julian's music lingered in my mind, I knew I had made the right choice. I hadn't abandoned him. I had given him back to himself. And in doing so, I had found myself again. We were 2 whole people now, separated by an ocean, but connected by something far stronger than dependency. We were connected by respect, and that, I realized, was the only foundation upon which true love could ever really stand. My dear friends, thank you for reading Genevieve's story. It was a journey of tears, doubts, and ultimately courage. Many of us face moments where we feel torn between our duty to others and our duty to ourselves. Genevieve showed us that sometimes sacrifice doesn't mean destroying yourself. It means having the bravery to change the dynamic so everyone can breathe again. What would you have done in Genevieve's place? Would you have stayed in Seattle, or would you have taken the leap to London? Was she selfish, or was she the savior of their marriage? Please subscribe to the channel for more stories that touch the heart and challenge the mind. And leave a comment below. I read every single one of them. Let's discuss. With love, Tube Zavad AI.